Hi, it's John Four from Role Playing Tips, and I've got another quick GM resource review for you today. I've got here a pair of books called the D30 Dm Companions. They're written by Richard LeBlanc Jr. Of New Big Dragon Games Unlimited. And these are the books here. They're titled AX1, AX2, and these are fantastic little resources full of random tables that'll help your GMing out. And they're aimed at old school fantasy games, so basic D&D, but fantasy GMs should be able to pull some tables out regardless of what system that they're running. And the first book, AX1, the green one, is aimed at dungeon crawling. So it contains a lot of information and tables about what the dungeon is made of and what's in the dungeon and what makes the dungeon dangerous. The second book, with the blue cover, AX2, is all about the wilderness and settlements and outside what's happening in the hex. And personally, I find AX2, the wilderness one, a lot more useful than the first one. The first one has a lot of tables that you would find in the DMG1. So if you have the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, then you'll have a lot of redundancy with this book. And the book AX1 here also has a lot of information about monsters and their specific stats and in basic D&D terms. So they're easily translatable to other systems because they start from such a basic point, but they might be redundant with whatever monster manual you have already for your system. But some favorite tables out of AX1 include dungeon features, walls, floors, and doors, as well as embellishments and religious items and geological phenomena. There's some interesting items in those tables to help you flesh out your dungeon a bit. And let's see, mold, slimes, and mushrooms. These tables help you come up with the non-standard dungeon ailments and perhaps monsters, what color they are, description of the mushroom, and a D30 table of random effects that are caused by the fungus and slime, whatnot. So that's an interesting set of tables there. And then I've got traps, of course. So if you're stuck on traps, this pages 12 and 13 have a bunch of inspiration for you for the types of traps that you can fill your dungeon with and their effects, and some poison on the side. And then last, pages 34 35 are all about magic items. So the left-hand column just contains your standard list of magic items like daggers, maces, amulets, horns with a noun attached to them. And then there's a column with a description that's related to the item. But what I found interesting was the ability column. So I don't think you need to restrict this, the value of the column to the item, the row of the item. So if you're stuck for some interesting non-standard uses for magic items, this one is good. For example, I saw one here, the magic item, it's supposed to be an abacus. It automatically calculates the worth of all physical possessions of the person who owns it or holds it. But you don't need to restrict that to an abacus. It could be any of these types of magic items like oils and keys and stones. So interesting tables there. In the wilderness one, blue, AX2, there's I found quite a few more tables that I would bookmark. One is adventure generators. So this one contains the trigger, major goal, obstacles, locations, location features, and that's just on the one table. And then on the other one, there's key NPC, phenomena, villain, artifact, and theme. So these are very terse tables. So they just like give you one word inspiration ideas. These won't give you a fleshed out adventure or an adventure structure really, but lots of opportunity for ideas there. And then in pages 16, This one is natural features and phenomena. So this one I like because it's broken down by terrain type. So you've got hills, mountains, forests, plains, swamps. You roll a D30 and it tells you what physical features, what geographical features, geological features are in that terrain. So that's fantastic for helping you on the fly quickly flesh out what's in the hex. And then page 20. Next one is a temple generator and a cult generator. So again, you get stuck with something on the fly, or if you're doing prep, just roll on these tables. They're multi-column tables, and they help you out. For example, the cult generator has strange cult practices and immediate goals. There's a few other columns there as well, but those ones just give you an example of the table's usefulness. And then, let's see, page 30. This one is settlement background. So this is great. So you have what's the government type, how xenophobic they are, how do they react to outsiders, the economic situation, problems with the settlement, and then nearby threats. So even if you're just mentioning a settlement in passing, and you haven't made it up yet, just create a couple of traits for it. That's enough to get you by until you have time to fully flesh it out. The next page, 31, after it has unprovoked attacks against the PCs. So types of, aggressive attacks that would happen in a settlement. Propositions for the PCs, annoying encounters, and celebrations and events. So perfect grist for helping you flesh out those settlements. And then last, 47. All right, so of course, NPC tables. You know, I'm a sucker for NPCs, physical traits, and then behavior and their persona. Lots of columns there of random choices and backgrounds, their eccentricities, and languages they speak. So tons of great tables there. I purchased these on Lulu. The blue one, the green one, AX1, is $10. It's got 36 pages. Again, it's the dungeon one. The blue one, AX2, is $12 for print, and it's 52 pages, and it's for the wilderness and settlements. So I recommend giving both of these consideration and adding them to your GM bookshelf. See you later.